What do you get when you mix Alabama roots with a penchant for press freedom? Meet Kaitlan Collins. Hey everyone, I'm Leah, feeling totally intrigued today.
And I'm Garrett, super excited to dive into this topic with you all.
Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Today's spotlight is on Kaitlan Collins, a prominent figure in American journalism known for incisive political reporting and a career that moved fast from the White House beat to primetime anchoring. I caught one of Collins's interviews where she fact-checked a political leader on air, and it was fascinating to see that level of accountability live. It reminded me, that journalists can be a kind of guardrail. When a claim speeds past, they slow it down and check the license plate. I walked away appreciating how much real-time verification matters when the stakes are national.
Let's open the book on this. Kaitlan Collins is an American journalist at CNN. She anchors a 9 p.m. ET primetime show and also covers the White House. Picture her role like a referee in a high-stakes game. The rules are facts, the players are political leaders, and her job is to keep the play clean by calling fouls when misinformation pops up. That balance of calm tone and firm follow-ups is pretty much her signature.
Basic terms check. When we say White House correspondent, we mean the reporter assigned to the president and the administration day to day. And the White House press pool is a small rotating group that represents all journalists when space is limited. One pool reporter goes in, then shares everything with the rest. It's kind of like a buddy system for access. You take turns and everybody gets the notes.
So, early life. Collins was born April 1992 in Prattville, Alabama, just outside Montgomery, and she grew up with 4 siblings. Her parents, Jeff Collins Sr. and Tina Collins, didn't push a political identity at home. She has said she doesn't even recall them voting, which means she wasn't raised with strong partisan cues. I think that threads into her focus on documents, timelines, and what's on the record, rather than party labels.
Education-wise, she graduated from Prattville High, went to the University of Alabama, and curveball, started as a chemistry major. Then she switched to journalism and also studied political science, which is a social science about how governments work and how power moves. She was in the Alpha Phi sorority. By May 2014, she had her BA and a really clear direction toward reporting on public affairs.
Right after college, she moved to Washington, D.C., and interned at the Daily Caller, which is a conservative-leaning news outlet. They hired her full-time in June 2014 as an entertainment reporter, which gave her daily reps at interviewing and filing under deadline. By 2016, she was covering the presidential election. And in January 2017, she became the Daily Caller's White House correspondent. That put her in the briefing room as the Trump administration began.
Then there's this pivotal moment. While she was still at the Daily Caller, she did a few on-air hits on CNN. In spring 2017, she met Jeff Zucker, who was then CNN's president. She thanked him for bringing her on despite her outlet's ideological brand. That cross-ideology bridge actually mattered. A few months later, in July 2017, CNN hired her to expand their presidential coverage.
Once at CNN, she was immediately in the thick of it. She joined the White House press corps and reported on 6 or more of President Donald Trump's international trips. That's intense on-the-road diplomacy reporting. Those assignments help you build sources because you're there in the motorcades and the hallways, seeing how decisions land in real time.
Then came July 2018. Collins was the pool reporter in an Oval Office photo op. She asked Trump about Vladimir Putin and Michael Cohen. That's standard spray behavior, by the way, where reporters call out questions during quick photo moments. Later that day, she was physically blocked from a Rose Garden press conference. The White House said it was about decorum, meaning politeness and procedure. CNN and the White House Correspondents Association called it retaliatory and inappropriate. Fox News President Jay Wallace even issued a rare cross-network statement backing CNN's access. That solidarity doesn't happen every day.
And the semantics got heated. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, then press secretary, said Collins shouted questions and refused to leave. Kellyanne Conway, then a senior advisor, framed it as being polite. Bill Shine, who oversaw communications, pushed back on the word ban but didn't offer a better label. Practically, she was blocked. That's the key. The broader principle is access for the pool, which protects the idea that tough questions shouldn't get you sidelined.
In 2019, she landed on Forbes 30 Under 30 in media. Then in late 2020, Kayleigh McEnany, Trump's press secretary at the time, called her an activist and refused a question. That came during a period when reporters pressed the administration on unsupported fraud claims after the election. Through all of that, Collins' visibility kept climbing.
January 2021, she was promoted to CNN's chief White House correspondent for the incoming Biden administration. At 28, the youngest in CNN's history, that meant she led day-to-day coverage of policy and messaging at the center of power, which is a lot of early mornings, travel, and split-second judgment calls.
Then a big pivot in fall 2022. CNN announced she'd co-anchor a revamped morning show with Don Lemon and Poppy Harlow. She actually stepped away from an elected term as president of the White House Correspondents Association to move to New York for it. The show's title became CNN This Morning, and she left the chief correspondent post to take the desk job.
May 2023, she moderated a CNN town hall with Donald Trump. A town hall, in TV terms, is a forum where a moderator guides questions from voters to a public figure. During an exchange about subpoenas, those are legal orders to testify or provide documents, Trump called her a nasty person. She pressed for specifics and kept fact-checking in real time. It was a flashpoint moment about what real-time accountability looks like on live TV.
A week later, in May 2023, CNN named her the new 9 p.m. ET host. That slot had been vacant since Chris Cuomo's 2021 departure. Her show title, The Source with Kaitlan Collins, was announced in July 2023, and it premiered later that month. It's slotted between Anderson Cooper 360 and CNN Newsnight with Abby Phillip. Strategically, she's the reporter-first bridge between legacy and newer formats.
Late 2024, Galeka, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics, named her one of America's 10 best TV news journalists, citing her fact-checking on The Source. Then, in November 2024, CNN said she'd resume the chief White House correspondent for the second Trump presidency while keeping the primetime show. That dual setup meant she could break news during the day and explain it that same evening.
In 2025, Mediaite ranked her 6th on the most influential in news media list, pointing to that day-to-night rhythm, the guest diversity, and several scoops. In February 2025, there was that Oval Office moment described as a tense exchange between J.D. Vance, a senior Trump administration official, and Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. Collins's coverage under intense deadline later won a White House Correspondents' Dinner Award in 2026, presented by Wolf Blitzer, a veteran CNN anchor.
Across 2025 and 2026, Trump publicly insulted her multiple times, including a December 2025 post calling her stupid and nasty. And in February 2026, after she asked about victims of Jeffrey Epstein, he called her the worst reporter. CNN defended her as exceptional. She later told Jake Tapper, another CNN anchor, on the lead that the Epstein topic was no laughing matter. Then at the rescheduled 2026 Correspondents' Dinner, Trump compared her to actress Dylan Mulvaney and posted an AI-generated image mocking her. Collins responded by posting Eleanor Roosevelt's line, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." That was a restrained answer to a modern problem, synthetic media being used to deride journalists.
Quick unpack on AI-generated image. That's a picture made by software that can create convincing fakes. It blurs lines between satire and misinformation. When that's amplified by someone powerful, it raises stakes for verification and context.
So here's a lasting question. In 2018, was Collins banned from the Rose Garden or not? Some officials avoided the word ban, but she was blocked from entry in direct response to questions asked in a pool spray. To me, that touches Press Freedom 101. If a pool reporter can be excluded for tough questions, the pool system, meant to represent all outlets, gets weaker. That's a no-go for me because it chills accountability.
I hear you. I'm with you on the pool principle, but decorum matters in tight ceremonial moments. Decorum just means following the agreed tone and timing. If the format says photos only and no questions, I get why staff want to stick to that. My question is, why reporters still call out questions then? The spray is often the only crack in the door before the day moves on. News doesn't wait for a formal Q&A. So maybe the real issue is designing formats that allow one or two quick questions without derailing the schedule.
That's fair. And historically, those sprays do include shouted questions. It's part of the ritual. If an outlet tries to enforce silence only when the question is uncomfortable, it looks retaliatory. The cross-network support from Fox News' Jay Wallace suggests people across the aisle saw it as a principal problem, not a style problem.
So we might agree on the bottom line. The system needs predictability. If expectations are clear and consistent, decorum and accountability can actually coexist. Otherwise, the word choice, ban or not, becomes a semantic shield over an access issue.
In pop culture terms, the 2023 Trump town hall was a major media moment. People argued about platforming versus pressing. Collins' calm, persistent fact-checking became the focal point. And that Eleanor Roosevelt quote she posted in 2026 circulated like a meme. It signaled composure without trading insult for insult. Let's unpack a what if. What if CNN never hired Collins in July 2017? I can imagine her staying at the Daily Caller and becoming a leading conservative media White House reporter. With her on-the-record style, she might have built a big profile there while still scoring scoops from the other side of the media ecosystem.
And on the CNN side, without her, that 9 p.m. slot might have gone to a more opinion-forward format instead of a reporter-first one. Maybe fewer real-time exclusives carried from day reporting into the evening hour. Also, that cross-network solidarity in 2018 might have centered on a different name, changing the public narrative. It's wild how a single hire can ripple through programming strategy and the tone of a whole primetime block.
Either way, her path shows how moving across ideological outlets can widen a reporter's source network. It let her moderate a Republican-focused town hall while maintaining rigorous fact-checking and then bring fresh reporting into primetime the same night. That's close to the heart of it for me. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Laid Back Learning.
Stay curious, and we'll catch you next time.